Alright folks, this is Acid Root. So we've got part 4 of Let's Play Donkey Kong Country 3, and we're gonna kind of get a little bit further in this. It's been a little bit since I've done an episode, but kind of the situation about it kind of is and such is that I'm starting to kind of realize as this channel goes along that it's just getting trickier to actually complete a lot of these games. Because a lot of these, I mean, I do like the Super Nintendo games and that type of stuff, but a lot of these are quite tricky. I mean, Donkey Kong Country 3 should be an easy one to cap off. I feel like a lot of these other ones just kind of have like I'm trying to play Uniracers right now, and I know that that's just going to be a casual play where I just kind of dick around and stuff, and that's just kind of the concept there. There's not really much of anything else-wise to do, because that is a pretty tough game. I really feel like if you can actually find someone left on this planet who can still complete Uniracers, you definitely have found, like, a relic of some sort, because that's just a game that is just, you know, there's just hide nor hair of it these days. And that's kind of the main concept there. I mean, I can at least give it the old college try of trying to mess with it, but there's not much in terms of what can actually go on. You know, I'm not going to play the game for 20 years just to get like 4 YouTube views or something. That's just kind of the thing. But I do at least like the game. It's a decent little rental game, like I've said before. But yeah, so it's been kind of mellow with like the Super Nintendo and that type of stuff. I was almost thinking about getting some more games, but I don't really know as far as what else. I mean, the only other game I could think to get would just be like Final Fight 3 or something. But that's kind of a pricey game. I mean, it's not pricey. I mean, it's going to run you 3 digits, it seems like. So that's kind of the concept. 3 digits for basically not even getting maybe 2 or 3 views across the... I mean, YouTube's just so much of a nightmare. But alright, so I'll kind of tone down like the Debbie Downer stuff. We'll just kind of get into like some standard stuff here and kind of chillaxing, kicking back and stuff, enjoying the hot weather. Had ideas kind of romping, but there's just not an overabundance of really like Super Nintendo games and PlayStation 1 games left to really do. Like, I've thought about, like, messing with Super Mario Bros. 3, because I do have an NES Classic, and I could probably set that up like I did with Super Contra a couple years ago. But, that's really, I mean, the whole concept of this channel, the reason why these updates are becoming so sparse is just because I'm running out of games that are actually appeasing to, like, my palette that I would like to include on here. I mean, yeah, I could do, like, every Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PS1 game, but this would seem like almost like a waste of money. So that's kind of the concept, is just trying to say, rather than play games that I don't necessarily, and by that I mean like Super Nintendo games that I don't really want to put on here, I would kind of feel like, or PlayStation 1 games that I don't want to put on here, I'm just kind of more spacing out these updates. I mean, folks, I mean, if you watch this like in 2024 or something, it's not going to make too much of a difference. But just to kind of say, like, the sporadicness it's not going to be like what it was back in 2020, just because, there's just not a lot to do. Like, after this, I've thought about doing like either Secret of Evermore or Illusion of Gaia, but in terms of like adventure games like this and Super Mario World, like I also want to fire up Super Mario World at some point, but I mean, apart from that, I'm just really kind of scraping the barrel in terms of what can actually be on this channel. It's just becoming more and more vapid, and I'm just really starting to notice that. But at least for the time being, you have this to kind of sate your appetite. It's really the thing. So just enjoy this concept, order some pizza. I mean, definitely, I say this plenty of times, get some popcorn, get some KFC, get like a full-blown gourmet meal. Go get some Krispy Kreme donuts. I haven't said that too many times. Go get a box of donuts and a nice sized glass of orange juice and enjoy yourself. This is kind of the concept. There's plenty of stuff to like around here, so, I really don't even feel like Krispy Kreme was around when this game came out. It feels like Krispy Kreme kind of manifested somewhere in like the early 2000s. I remember it was there in like 2004, 2002, but it really seemed like Krispy Kreme just kind of spawned out of nowhere, and now it's one of like the largest donut chains. Really gives like Dunkin' Donuts kind of competition and stuff, but Dunkin' Donuts has been around, for most of my life. At least I would have thought to have seen, but Krispy Kreme is relatively new. They need to do that more. They need to have like more places like that. Just those type places for some donut fare. Another place like this, more breakfast places, that type of stuff. Like Starbucks, they could stand to sell donuts. I don't know why they don't. I mean, I bet you they'd really kind of give like Dunkin' Donuts some competition if Starbucks were to start saying, yeah, we sell donuts, we sell those. What I don't know all the donut lingo, but those type things, be interesting. Gotta respect the breakfast restaurants, viewers. The Dunkin' Donuts, the Starbucks, the Krispy Kremes, they're useful. I mean, I don't feel like this playthrough is going to be as morning themed as other ones that I've done, but it stands to reason. So, but yeah, to talk, I don't know, the music in this game and just overall the stuff in this game is just so far out. I mean, that's the thing about it, is it's just so off to the side and subdued. It just feels like there's just how much stuff you just kind of pay attention. It just really feels like this game was kind of an afterthought. It's really the concept about it is just trying to relatively it just feels so, like I said, quiet, subdued, and just kind of forgotten about. And I don't know if that was just because of like the 3D machines that were out, just that kind of concept. I mean, just talking about like the PlayStation, for example. I mean, the PlayStation with games, I think I said this before, me talking about like Resident Evil and blah blah blah, and Tomb Raider and those type games, Twisted Metal and some of those. I mean, obviously those were pretty cold compared to what this game was. I probably would have been playing Twisted Metal and Tomb Raider had I been like 20 or 23 or 17 back when this game and those games came out. It had the more appeal, and it was just, you can't fault the people for picking PlayStation over Super Nintendo. I mean, this is a good game. I mean, to stand to reason, but it just kind of feels like an afterthought in so many ways. Like, why are you still playing the Super Nintendo kind of thing? This depends upon how much you like. I mean, if you're just looking at me like, dude, the NBA Finals were just 5 days ago, let's talk about that. But this is kind of like, you have to look at the concept of, I mean, for people who would say something like, talking about that, it's just kind of, when it comes to like the concept of like games, it just depends upon, it's just easier to know what games you want to play and stuff. But this is kind of the thing. So I have a radar for games like this and Twisted Metal and Tomb Raider and Mega Man X and those type games. There's all sorts of stuff just to be able to do. But yeah, so I really hate using this character to fight this spider enemy just because, like, he's just so inefficient. They purposely did that, and the thing about it to make it extra tough is just the fact that you cannot switch monkeys mid-boss fight, and I really feel like that's something that was purposely included in this, at least this stage. I think they did that to make sure that you have Dixie Kong first, so if you get hit, you kind of struggle more with the other one. And it kind of pisses me off. I just kind of look after it like, I mean, I don't know, it's just awkward. You should be able to switch monkeys with the boss. I just feel like, you could basically get a couple hits, switch, and then really get it taken care of. But it's just it's kind of a dirty trick that they inserted into this that just makes it that much more weaselly and kind of bastardized. But yeah, so keep that in mind. It doesn't seem like you can switch chimps in terms of like this. Maybe you can in other ones. I didn't pay enough attention. I'll try it soon enough. But just know that the monkey you're gonna want to take out the spider, the most efficient one is Dixie Kong. But you just have to survive his tricks, which is really kind of the thing. That's why I feel like I'd like to have Kiddy Kong first, is just because, I could get rid of him and then have Dixie Kong basically make short work of this asshole. But his boss is just designed to kind of be like crotchety. I really think that's just like the whole concept about it, is really an ass goblin of a boss. It's creative. I mean, it's definitely creative for what it is, but it's still kind of a bastard. So I need to hit up McDonald's again. It's been a little while since I've been there. It's been pretty mellow month. I haven't made too many Acidic Roots videos. I need to hit up Reggie and get some more. I mean, I did some recent videos with Reggie that are going to come out in July, but I feel like, I mean, Reggie is not like a complete central, going to be here over 85% of the time individual. So it's just kind of, I have to do some more videos in July where it's just me and that type stuff and other things like I've been doing with like the spin-off year. But it's kind of, that's the concept there, is trying to figure it out. I mean, these things are just so uncharted anymore. It's like we constantly have this concept of mystery attached to everything that goes on. There's no straightforward, you know what's going to happen type shit. That's really kind of, it gets exhausting after a good while, but there's just really nothing that can be done. But I am going to save, you know, after pretty much every scenario that pisses me off, I'm going to save, just because I do not want to consistently go through some of these moments that actively piss me off. So, and I am going to exit this episode midway through a stage. I mean, some folks, you know, I could have just made this episode shorter, because that's essentially the thing. This stage that we're getting ready to get into takes longer than 2 minutes to complete. And this episode probably would have been, you know, 12 and a half minutes had I not done that. And I might start doing that. I don't know. I'm kind of up in arms as to whether or not I'm going to try to just have a new episode per new stage, or if I'm going to cut the episode midway through a stage. Some folks, I mean, there's just folks that are more partial about how they do that sort of stuff. I know, regardless of that, I don't want these videos being longer than 15 minutes. That's really the only stipulation that I have, but it just depends, because if I do it that way and I get stuck in a mid-stage, some videos might be shorter, and they might be like 11 or 12 and a half minutes or something. That's just kind of the thing. But I think regardless, for the most part, it's not like this channel is like astronomical to where the critique is going to be there in terms of that. But just to kind of say, you know, you might eventually notice some of these episodes kind of being spotty, or not spotty, but just kind of varied in like their length. I don't know, it just depends. But yeah, we were in the water world, so World 3. I should have paid attention to what the name of the world was, but just to kind of say and stuff, yeah, we're gonna start seeing some water-oriented stages. So, and most of these will have gimmicks. I mean, that's what you have to pay attention to. This game may do like one stage that's just kind of like the default no gimmick stage, but after that they pretty much insert them immediately. I mean, the Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 did not do that, but this game tries to try new tricks. It definitely has something to say, more so, and that's kind of why I was talking about with the PlayStation 1 stuff, is to say, well, this did have a lot of stuff going for it, but it was just old dog new tricks more so than new dog old tricks kind of thing. But the swimming mechanics are not quite as good in this one. I mean, there's something behind it. I just feel like they're different from how they were in the first two games. I mean, this game just feels a lot more gummy, like I've said before, but you just have to be more careful. And the enemy placement, they want you to keep swimming up. You have to really just take the gamble as to when to avoid those things. But alright, so we're about at the conclusion of this episode, and we'll get to part 5, and we'll keep doing more with this. But yeah, World 3, folks. That's kind of the situation. We're only in episode 4. It's like, I thought this was going to be longer than Donkey Kong Country 2. But alright, subscribe for more fun. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful night.